Plaintiff Sherry Lorimer rented a room in the defendant's home, and she says it was a complete nightmare. Sherry claims she was forced to file a restraining order against her other roommate, and she's suing because after the defendant had her falsely arrested, he stole money from her room. Defendant Gary Moore claims Sherry is only suing him today because she's angry that he testified against her, and as a result, she spent a year in jail. Gary's countersuing for dog boarding and storage fees.
Start with you.
Okay, I moved in with Gary in May of 2015. It was a nightmare right from the beginning. It was insane. A mutual friend of ours is how I met Gary. He was the other roommate, told me, you know, come live here. He had found out I was mugged, where I was staying wasn't safe. He's like, Gary's got a room for rent. He'll allow your dogs to come. So move in over here. It was completely chaos and turmoil. I was the only one working. They're all on disability, constant from the moment we woke up, you know, going to work. The other roommate was drunk all of the time.
Okay.
So my pain medication comes up missing, almost a whole prescription bottle of it. I confronted the other roommate. I'm sorry?
What type of pain?
It was oxycodone, 30 milligrams, very strong medication. When I was mugged, they had broken eight bones in my body. So Gary, I brought this to Gary's attention. He said he would never have done it. It must have been the other roommate. I went to the police. They said there was nothing they could do about it. When the other roommate found out that I had gone to the police, he threatened to have his daughter beat me up. Now, after just being mugged, I took it very seriously. You know, we were both very sure that it was him that stole it. It was only the three of us at the time.
Okay, and
before
you didn't
this
accuse...
other nightmare moved in, yeah. Believe me, the devil himself right there.
So you had two nightmares.
So I got a restraining order. I was granted the restraining order against
who? The other person
the other roommate.
That you accused?
Correct.
All right.
Okay, so now these two take a year of my life from me. I was on probation at the time.
How did he take a year?
They made false allegations to my probation officer right before I went to see her for my weekly visit. Gary knew I'm a waitress. I had a lot of cash in my room. I had a debit card, a Walmart debit card that I keep my cash on. It expired in July, or the end of June, and I didn't realize that till like the first week of July. So I'm waiting for a new card to come. Gary also knew this. So I was keeping my cash in my room. I asked him several times, could he put a lock on my door? He refused.
No, I was wondering, you skipped over what they did to make your life miserable as it relates to your probation.
They lied to my probation officer right before I went to see her.
Saying you did what?
That I was selling my pills, that I was drinking, driving. I also had just refilled my pain medication, and I had cash in the room. So now he let this man move in after the other one left. This one's drunk all of the time. He drinks so much that he's not supposed to drink, but he drinks himself into seizures constantly. You know, I had to call the police 3 times on this gentleman. Okay, so now these two take a year of my life from me. I was on probation at the time.
How did he take a year?
They made false allegations to my probation officer right before I went to see her for my weekly visit.
Plaintiff Sherry Lorimer rented a room in the defendant's home, and she claims after he had her falsely arrested, he stole money from her bedroom.
You want to give me some background, sir?
Yes, that's correct. We did drink a lot at my household, including Mrs. Lorimer, too, who was on probation. I admit that. She's vindictive because we testified at the House of Correction last year against her. Yes, I did talk for her probation. We are not lying, and I'm not lying to you, Your Honor.
What caused you to do that?
Would cause me to do that?
Yeah, go and testify against her.
Any of my friends would come over for a cookout or a beer, end up in an argument with Sherry all the time. It didn't matter what friend it was. She's argumentative, belligerent, and drinking all the time.
So you were retaliating against her?
No.
What made you go down and testify against her? You didn't have anything to do with it?
Mainly because her probation officer asked me.
Oh, they asked you and perhaps were going to subpoena you. Okay, and that makes sense. You were the owner of the property, so they want to know whether your tenant was engaged in illegal conduct. Yeah. All right, so yeah, otherwise you may have had a problem. So, okay, you testified against her, and go ahead, continue.
Well, like I say, me and George both testified. Sherry drove her car, or a truck, to her probation officer. She never came back. She never came back home. She was locked up. Next thing I know, we're talking to the probation officers. We testify. She's in the House of Correction here in Milwaukee. We testified. They locked her up a year. So, you know, and another thing, about 3 weeks before that happened, she was on a probation. I'm not sure how this worked, but somebody revoked her for over the weekend. She had to go to the House of Correction. She drove drunk, drinking and popping her pills, going down to the House of Correction and smashed her window out. Hit her side rear mirror, smashed the window out. I was picking glass out of my ear and my arm, and I had to drive her truck back.
All right. And, sir, did you want to testify? She said a lot of things about you. You don't have to if you don't like.
Yes, I would.
Come on, stand up and state your name.
My name is George S. Rodriguez.
All right. She brought you into this, so what do you want to say?
I just would like to testify the fact that her character is very belligerent. Yes, she drives drunk. Yes, this gentleman here was kind enough to take care of her dogs while she spent a little visit in the hotel for 8 months. She is a walking train wreck.
All right, so.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Yes, and then we're going to get to the money you alleged he stole.
Well, when I got out of jail, I had the police meet me for a property pickup. 2 officers came. Gary came outside. He admitted right in front of them. First of all, I asked where my $1,400 was. The police officer asked. He said he packed up my room and there was not any money at all in there. He said she's a waitress. She's a waitress. She was plucked from her life and there wasn't any money in her room. He said there was none. Okay. He admitted in front of that officer that yes, he did make false allegations towards me because he felt threatened by this gentleman. He said it in front of the 2 officers.
You have that?
I have all of these
No, the thing, what you just quoted. Do you have that?
I can't.
All right, let's move on then. Stolen cash.
The cash was gone.
You came out.
The cash was gone.
The police took you over there.
There's no
and
cash.
The cash was gone.
Yes, sir. There's
now,
no cash.
how do you conclude he stole it?
Well, it was gone. He said he packed up my belongings. When they did come to the House of Correction and lied at the revocation hearing, he told them he packed me up and there was no money there. My attorney asked him.
All right, and were other people living there? Didn't you say there were others? These 2. All right, and they may have had company coming in and out. You were gone how long?
Well, with their false allegations, a whole year.
How long were you gone,
A whole year, sir.
A whole year?
Yes, sir.
All right, and where did you leave the money?
In my dresser drawer.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Stolen cash.
The cash was gone.
You came out.
The cash was gone.
The police took you over there.
There's no
and
cash.
And the cash was gone.
Yes, sir. There's
now,
no cash.
how do you conclude he stole it?
Well, it was gone. He said he packed up my belongings. When they did come to the House of Correction, he told them he packed me up and there was no money there. My attorney asked him.
Plaintiff Sherry Lorimer rented a room in the defendant's home, and she claims after he had her falsely arrested, he stole money from her bedroom.
What do you have to say, sir?
First of all, it's in the dresser drawer. Then all of a sudden, the money was in the truck. I didn't hear her
say anything about a truck.
In my documents from Milwaukee, it says she's being sued for stealing her truck and $1,500 that was in it.
You have something that says that?
Right.
I left my evidence. I don't have it.
Anything else?
I got other evidence, though, for the dog watching, and I also got...
That's your counterclaim.
Yeah.
For dog boarding and storage fees. Tell me about it. How does she owe you for that?
Well, I basically charged her $50 a month for 13 months for storage. And then watching her dogs, I believe it's fair. I watched 2 dogs that bit everybody that came to my house. I'm watching 2 dogs, you know, and I watched them for like 8 weeks. I was waiting for a word from Mrs. Lorimer to tell me anything, send them somewhere, right?
I wrote him
No, she did not. That's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. And I would have got rid of them
You
dogs
know
so
what
fast,
I-
but they never happened.
Listen,
She
those were
never
my
contacted
babies,
me.
and I still
I
wanna
told her
know where they're
probation
at.
officer, get in hold with Sherry. I need to get rid of these dogs. She did nothing.
How
That's how
would you
much she
tell me
cared
that?
about.
Where are the
I was
dogs
in
now?
jail.
I gave them to 2 good families and they're happy.
I need their names, Your Honor,
How
because
long
I'm
ago?
following up with their.
I would say
How
it was
long
last
after she was incarcerated did you give
8
the
weeks.
dogs?
8 weeks.
So you only kept them for 2 months?
Yeah.
And you gave who a warning that you were going to give them away? Did you
I
give?
talked to Sherry's probation officer and asked, get me a contact number. I got to get rid of these dogs.
You knew where she was?
Yeah, he never wrote me.
She never,
Quiet.
but she never contacted
But
me.
you knew where she was.
How can I? It's not easy contacting somebody in penal systems. It's her dogs. They're not mine.
Ma'am, what do you say about not checking on your dogs?
I never would have went to jail without their false allegations, sir.
Okay,
this
that's
is
your
ridiculous.
defense. All right, very good. And so far, you have not proven that they stole or he stole. I say they because they were both living there.
Correct.
So, and you're only suing the one gentleman. So, certainly
the
we don't
owner.
know whether he took it or not. Secondly, over the course of a year, I promise you, they had a lot of people in and out of that house.
Oh, yeah.
And we can't determine who stole your money. You have the burden of proving that it was the defendant who stole your money. And did the police investigate it?
No, because.
All right, because they know that there was no way of proving it.
He said
and
it
so,
was a small claims issue.
I
That's
got
why
you.
I'm
So
here.
I'm going to have to dismiss your claim.
Okay.
You have not proven that he stole your money.
Right.
With regard to the dog boarding and storage fees, well, sir, she never agreed to give you that. And barring any agreement, you're just a nice guy. Good luck to you
Thank you,
both.
Your Honor.
Mhm.
You have a good life.
Yep, back.
I wish you the best.
You're a nut job. You need to go into some kind of mental institute for sure. You even called the cops on him. He sexually harassed me. He's a nut job. He's completely insane. Drink yourself into some more seizures.
I think I'm a little bit.
Go where you belong.
I'd like to say one last thing. She has so many frivolous lawsuits. We looked it up. It's 3
have no
pages
lawsuit.
long.
Yeah.
3
I have
pages
no lawsuit.
long.